Hi everyone, Curtis Edwards here, host of Tea Talk with Curtis, powered by Orion Lending. We have a very special guest today. This individual is one of the best mortgage recruiters I've ever had the pleasure of working with in my career, and is also one of the most energetic people I know. I'm excited to have Alex Falas on the show today. Welcome, Alex.
Thanks, Curtis. Happy to be here.
As a part of Tea Talk with Curtis, I'm sure you received your exclusive mug.
I did, actually.
Okay, great. What type of tea would you be drinking with me today?
Good old H2O. No tea for me, just old water.
Nice. Yeah, I sounds delicious. Now that I am caffeinated and you aren't, let's go ahead and get started.
I'm naturally caffeinated, Curtis.
Isn't that the truth? So, tell our community about your role within Orion Lending.
Yeah, so I'm the director of recruiting. I've been here for about 3.5 years, and in a nutshell, I'm basically in charge of hiring pretty much everybody. Probably in the past 3.5 years, I probably hired 98% of our staff. So that's what I do. I'm talking to people every day, trying to attract talent to one of the best companies in the world.
Hundreds of people.
Hundreds, yeah. I lose count. I lose track.
Orion Lending is dedicated to growing the next generation of the mortgage industry. How is Orion Lending ensuring the stability of the future of wholesale lending?
You know, I'm glad you asked that question. So we've established a college recruiting program. We call it Launchpad AE University, Account Executive University. And we're going after recent and soon to be college graduates, trying to expose them to the mortgage business, try to expose them to sales. You know, and one of the big drivers for me about that is I'm still a little bitter that no one ever exposed me to this business when I was that age. So I've made it my personal mission, and I think Orion has as well, to really, seek out the next generation that's going to power us into the future.
What did you start your career in, Alex?
I originally started my career as a CPA. You know, I graduated from Boston University magna cum laude back in 1994. Man, I can't believe it's been that long. In any case, I did accounting and finance. I passed the CPA exam on the first shot, which I was very proud of. I was fortunate enough to get offers from all the big 6 accounting firms in 2 different cities. You know, today there aren't big 6, they're big 4. And I thought my way to riches was going to be through the accounting world. I thought I'd be a partner at a big accounting firm. Turns out after a couple of years, you know, I hated it. I didn't like it at all. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. And the way I got into sales unknowingly was we used to get called by headhunters a lot. You know, outside recruiters that get paid to basically steal employees from one company for another company in exchange for a fee. And I remember being fascinated that this person was getting paid to talk to people all day. I thought, shoot, I can talk to people all day. I'd rather talk to people all day than work in a spreadsheet. And so I proceeded to ask her about what she did and what her job was like. And she got me in front of her manager, and I got the job. But the interesting thing about it is I never considered it as sales. I just saw it as talking to people. In any case, I became the #1 recruiter at this particular firm because we were targeting big 6 accounting people. And I ran into an old buddy of mine that used to work with me at a fast food restaurant. It was a burger joint. Cool. It was kind of like a Fuddruckers. It was called Rudy's Sirloin Steak Burgers. Fun job. In any case, I had known he was in the mortgage business, and I never really thought much of the mortgage business. I thought a loan officer was kind of like a personal banker. Yeah, they take an application, make a minimum wage or something along those lines. And I don't know why I asked him when we were having lunch how much he made. And when he told me, I literally fell out of my chair. He told me 170 grand. Now, keep in mind, this is in the mid-90s. That's good money today. And I was doing pretty well back then, too, probably about 75 grand, which was good money back then. And I was just like, what? How are you making that much money? So that's what got me into the mortgage business. But that was a lot later in life. And the interesting thing about that, I wasn't exposed to the wholesale side of the business until another 10 years after that. So you can see why I'm feeling so bitter about why I didn't get that chance at a younger
Missed
person.
opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So basically, you reverse recruited a recruiter.
I suppose you can say that, yeah.
to get
Pretty much.
To get a job there. That's funny. So so for the AEU team, how do you go about contacting these college kids and getting in front of them? Is it after they've already graduated, or what's your process?
Well, my process is to really get my hooks into them while they're still in school. Many of them during their senior year, and I'll even talk to kids that are in their junior, even sophomore year. The idea is to network with the various organizations at the school. Like some schools have what they call sales leadership centers. It's nice to see that colleges now are starting to expose kids to sales. So that's always a little bit of an advantage. So, various business fraternities, we try to get in front of them. We post on their job boards. I don't post a traditional type of job description role. It's a lot sexier than that, which draws in the type of person that I was when I was a kid, a particularly motivated, financially motivated individual. And, they respond, and I reach out to them and I talk to them. I start off by kind of telling them my story so they can relate. Because let's be honest, right? In college, they're programming kids to go in a certain direction. And I can assure you that direction is not sales and not mortgage, generally speaking. In fact, they have little to no exposure to mortgage. They get a little exposure to real estate, but not mortgage. So I start by talking about my background, how I got into the business, so they can relate to, hey, I get why I'm kind of blindsiding you with this. And then I proceed to tell them about our business, the difference between retail and wholesale, about our training program, which is very, very innovative. We basically teach them everything they need to know, and the fact that we teach them how to sell as well. I say we teach them the ABCs of mortgage as well as the 1, 2, 3s of selling. And then I proceed to lay out for them a very simple plan that demonstrates how relatively simple it is to achieve a 6-figure or close to 6-figure income in the very first 12 months. I call it the ignition to blast off sequence, which is a clever name for the first year roadmap since we're space themed.
Sure.
I also call it the 4x4x4 plan, which, as you know, Jeremy likes to make fun of and call it the Tonka truck plan, but we can talk about that more later.
Very good. So I know you know this, Alex, but I got my career started in a very similar program, as did Jeremy, the president of Orion. I was working at a bank, big bank, open checking accounts, doing HELOCs, that sort of thing. Good friend of mine pulled up one day, and he was doing retail, but was getting into wholesale, and kind of gave me the very high level at the time of what it was, know what a 1003 is, and have the gift of gab, and you too can make a ton of money. And I took that leap of faith early on in my career, really right out of college. And I feel like that's an important part of this program is recruiting kids right out of college. And I know you agree with me. Why do you feel that that's such an important role to recruit directly out of college?
Well, sales is, generally speaking, a risky business, right? It's not a consistent base salary. It can go up and down. You can make a lot of money, sure, but you might struggle in the beginning. Basically, what I tell when I talk to kids, I basically tell them, look, the time in your life to take risks is when you're young, because you have time to recover if it doesn't work out. You also don't have a big monthly nut to crack. You might be still living at home. You might have multiple roommates. You don't have a lot of expenses. You're not married. You don't have kids. And more importantly than that, I tell them when you get older, if you choose not to take this route, you will meet someone that makes a ton of money in our business. Mm-hmm. And at that point in time, you're going to want to try to get in. And you're going to quickly discover that it's virtually impossible for you to get in because you're accustomed to a certain level of income. And you're going to have to start all over again, which most people cannot do. So the time to take a shot at something that might seem risky is now.
Is when you can afford it.
Is when you can afford it. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what's the general response from the college kids when you're telling them all this?
They can't argue that point. A lot of times that's where I get them, because I tell them, look, when I was younger, I get it. We're scared. We don't want to fail at our first job. We don't know what's in front of us. But take it from someone that's a lot older than you. Shoot, a lot older than your parents now, unfortunately. Looking back, I realized that I was making too much out of something that is very easy to recover from. Mm-hmm. And there are plenty of examples of people that have completely changed the trajectory of their life because they were willing to take the shot. What's that term they say? No risk, no reward. You got to be willing to take a risk if you want a reward. And it's not the end of the world if it doesn't work out.
For sure.
Especially the younger you are, the less risk it is.
Yeah, and you've got some great success stories that we've seen, some testimonials from people kids that you've kind of put through various programs that have began a very successful career.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm glad you brought that up. I want to give you one example of a kid that I just talked to that I hadn't talked to in about 3 years. I did not think he'd make it. I really didn't. And I just talked to him the other day, and I asked him, I say, Josh, how much did you fund last month? Take a wild guess what he said.
8 million, 10 million.
$40 million.
Wow.
He made 180 grand last month. Unfortunately, the month before wasn't so good. He only did 20 million, so he made 80 grand the month before. So rough times.
Yeah. That's life changing, no doubt, right?
Like 3 years out of college. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You can't. What job is going to give you that type of opportunity?
Yeah, very few. They're out there, but few and far between. And the fact that you understand the intricacies of it and how to talk to the kids, I think, is also a very positive feature of it, right?
For sure.
So besides mentoring the next generation of mortgage leaders, how is Orion Lending providing and supporting prospective experienced account executives? Tech, marketing?
I'd say for me, probably the biggest thing is our technology. We have proprietary state-of-the-art technology, which runs circles around our competition. And I know this because when I talk to account executives, the experienced ones, the ones that have a book of business and have been in the business for a while, I really encourage them to participate in a demo of our Star Portal. And every single one of them, every time, walks away with a resounding wow. It actually surprises me sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I know the technology is phenomenal. I know you've been working on it since the very beginning. And truth be told, most companies our size, especially if they're starting out, as we did about 8 years ago, generally won't invest in technology until they feel they absolutely have to. But if you wait until you absolutely have to, you're probably already too late, right?
Exactly.
So technology is a big one. I think we have an amazing support staff. One particular department that I want to give a lot of kudos to is our marketing department. Mm-hmm. I really didn't utilize their services much in the past few years, but recently, given the AE University, I've been relying on Kelsey and her team a lot, and wow, I'm blown away. We have an amazing marketing department. I'll put them up against anybody. Absolutely. And then, of course, we have all kinds of other, features. We're competitively priced. We've got the Star Portal support team, kind of like a help desk. So if brokers need help, they can pick up the phone and get someone immediately to answer their questions. So I think we have a lot to offer.
Absolutely. When talking about company culture, and all the companies talk about culture, right? It's something that is earned over time. It's something that we constantly talk about with the quarterly care packages that we started during the pandemic to keep people close. Some of the things we do for the quarterly calls, the V-fairs, that type of thing, to really bridge the gap, because very few people are in an office today. How has Orion made strides to create an impactful company culture in your opinion?
I think we've done a great job. Like you said, the quarterly care packages, the communication from executive management team is amazing. I think we hear from Jeremy almost every day, it seems. Mm-hmm. And it's not just a couple of words. It's something relevant to what's going on in the market. It might be sharing some good news. It might be sharing some not so good news. He does a great job of sharing the feedback that we get from our brokers on AEs, or feedback from all kinds of stuff. So I love the involvement and engagement that comes from the executive management team. And one of my favorite things that I like to talk about is our bobbleheads.
You have yours right there?
You know what? I don't have it here.
I'm actually shocked. I'm shocked to hear that.
But yeah, when you hit your 3-year anniversary, the fact that the executive management team gets together and designs a bobblehead in your image based on your personality, it's a lot of fun. And then you've got Jeremy, the president of the company, getting on a video call and presenting it to you in front of the entire staff, with specific comments about what he knows about you. I mean, I don't know that many companies have presidents that would take the time to acknowledge every single employee when they hit their 3-year anniversary, much less design a bobblehead. Yeah. It's truly amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
They are a lot of fun.
And one more thing I'd like to add.
Yes, sir.
The beauty of the bobblehead, the beauty of that is it doesn't matter what level of employee you are, whether you're the receptionist or whether you're a top producing AE or whether you're part of the executive management team. The fact that he takes time of his day to recognize everyone is just, as far as culture goes, I don't think you can beat that.
Yeah, I agree. Kind of back to the AEU program. Tell me about the training. I know you've worked pretty closely with our L&E team to create several modules. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, the training program is phenomenal. I had a big part in designing the original framework, and then L&E took it out to a whole different level. The information that we give these kids is phenomenal. And not just from the mortgage aspect, but even the sales training. You know, I just came back from Charlotte last week and spent a solid day with the kids teaching them how to handle objections and rebuttals. And the feedback was great. They all felt like they were getting a lot out of the training and felt really ready to be on the phones. We did some role playing, which was a lot of fun. We recorded them and kind of critiqued it. It's, you know, it's second to none. And I tell a lot of candidates that I talk to that, look, let's just say for some reason you try this job and you do it for 6 months, and 6 months down the road you decide it's not for you. I promise you, the training and experience that you will get here will translate to any job you take afterwards. So if you're not sure you want to take this job because it's going to be your forever job, do it for the training. Do it for the training, do it for the experience, give yourself a shot, and if it doesn't work out, you still walked away with a lot.
Yeah, that's good information. So you mentioned that you have H2O in that mug. You sure about that?
Hey, listen, I don't think you want me caffeinated, Curtis.
I
Maybe
agree.
bouncing off the walls, probably. Although, you know, it might even have the opposite effect and calm me down. I don't know.
Maybe you'll have to try it sometime.
Maybe. We'll see.
Well, Alex, dude, appreciate you joining us on the show today. Like I said at the beginning of the call, man, you're one of the best recruiters, or the best recruiter rather, that I've ever worked with in my career. Really enjoy spend a lot of time with you. We work hand in hand on pretty much everything that we do on a day-to-day basis. So you're a class ACPA. Thank you for everything, and thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I'd say the same about you, Curtis. I say this to people all the time, both you and Jeremy. You know, I've worked with a lot of people in my career, sincerely, and a lot of them I would work with again. But hands down, if I had to choose, I would choose working with you and Jeremy over anybody else, honestly.
Much appreciated. I'm glad we're recording this. So,
By the way, I'm not brown nosing. I don't say anything I don't sincerely believe. If you know me to be a genuine person. I'm not one to throw out a compliment just to make someone feel better. I only say what I mean. That's why I'm good at my job.
There you go, man. Well, have a great day, dude, and I'll talk to you again soon.
You too. Hey, thanks for having me.
All right. See ya.
Bye, Curtis.